She was standing in her kitchen at 2 a.m., staring at her trembling hands, wondering how a simple bowl of jollof rice had just destroyed her entire life. 3 months ago she had laughed in his face. Told him no. Told him she was a chef, not a babysitter. Told him his money didn't move her. And now Leon Park owned her restaurant. Owned her contract. Owned her time. But what terrified Amina most wasn't that he'd won. It was that she had started to want to stay. Welcome back to Mafia Love Story, where danger and desire are never far apart. Today's tale is one of obsession, healing, and a love that bloomed in the most unexpected place, between a fearless chef and the most dangerous man in Seoul. So settle in, dim the lights, and let me take you into a world where every meal is a promise, and every heartbeat hides a secret. Amina Okafor had never planned to end up in Seoul. She was born in Lagos, raised in the chaos of open markets where her grandmother sold roasted plantains and her mother bargained over tomatoes with a voice that could shatter glass. Food was the language of her childhood, the sizzle of palm oil, the sweetness of chin-chin, the way her aunties would argue over whose jollof was best. By 17 she knew she wanted to cook professionally. Not just cook, create. She wanted to take the flavors of home and elevate them into art. So she left Nigeria. Studied in Paris. Trained under chefs whose names made critics weep. Earned a Michelin star before she turned 30. And then, tired of the pretension and pressure of European kitchens, she moved to Seoul, a city that respected craft, honored flavor, and let her disappear into her work. She opened a small restaurant in Itaewon. Nothing flashy. Just 12 tables, an open kitchen, and a menu that changed every week based on what inspired her. Korean-Nigerian fusion. Suya spiced short ribs. Kimchi jollof. Egusi stew with doenjang depth. The critics called her a genius. The locals called her Imo, auntie, because her food felt like home no matter where you were from. Amina didn't care about fame. She cared about the quiet satisfaction of watching someone close their eyes after the first bite. That moment when taste became memory. When food became love. She lived alone in a small apartment above the restaurant. No husband. No children. No distractions. Just her knives, her spices, and the freedom to create without answering to anyone. It was a good life. A safe life. Until the day Leon Park walked through her door. Now, before we continue, let me ask you something. Have you ever met someone who completely shattered your plans? Someone who made you question everything you thought you wanted? Drop your answer in the comments below. And if you're new here, hit that subscribe button, because this story is about to get dangerous. It was a Tuesday afternoon. The lunch rush had ended, and Amina was prepping for dinner service when the door chimed. She glanced up and froze. The man who entered didn't belong in her world. He was tall, sharp-suited. His black hair was slicked back, revealing a face carved from stone and shadows. His eyes were dark, calculating, the kind that missed nothing. He moved like a predator, slow, deliberate, aware of every exit and every threat. Behind him, 2 men in equally dark suits flanked the entrance. Bodyguards. And clinging to his hand was a little girl. She was small for her age, maybe 4 years old, with wide dark eyes and a pink dress that clashed with the somber energy of the men around her. She wasn't crying. She wasn't smiling. She was just staring at the floor, her tiny fists clenched tight. Amina wiped her hands on her apron and approached the table. Good afternoon. Just the 3 of you? The man's gaze locked onto hers. For a moment, she felt like he was reading her entire life story in a single glance. Just 2, he said. His voice was deep, controlled. The others will wait outside. Amina nodded and led them to a corner table. The little girl didn't let go of his hand. Didn't look up. What can I get for you? Amina asked, pulling out her notepad. Whatever you recommend, the man said. And something mild for my daughter. She's particular. Amina crouched down so she was eye level with the girl. Hi there. What's your name? The girl didn't answer. Didn't even blink. She doesn't talk much, the man said quietly. There was something in his voice, something raw beneath the control. She has autism. And she's been through a lot. Amina's heart squeezed. She knew that look. The exhaustion in his eyes. The helplessness. That's okay, Amina said softly, still looking at the girl. You don't have to talk if you don't want to. But I'm going to make you something really special, okay? Something that feels like a hug. The girl's eyes flickered up, just for a second. And in that second, Amina saw the storm inside her. The grief. The confusion. The overwhelming noise of a world that felt too big and too loud. Amina stood and went back to her kitchen. She made them her grandmother's recipe. Jollof rice with tender chicken, seasoned just enough to comfort without overwhelming. For the girl, she added a touch of honey and kept the spices gentle. She plated it with care, adding a small origami crane she'd folded from paper, something bright and simple. When she brought the food out, the man nodded his thanks. But his daughter didn't move. "Hannah," he said gently, "you should eat." The girl, Hannah, stared at the plate. Then slowly she picked up the spoon, took a bite. And for the first time since they'd walked in, her shoulders relaxed. She took another bite. And another. Leon Park watched his daughter eat, and something shifted in his expression. Relief. Disbelief. Hope. When they finished, he stood and approached Amina at the counter. "That was extraordinary," he said. "What's your name?" "Amina. Amina." He repeated it like he was committing it to memory. "I'm Leon Park. And I have a proposition for you." Amina raised an eyebrow. "I'm not hiring. I'm not applying," he said. "I want to hire you. To take care of my daughter." Amina laughed. Actually laughed. "I'm a chef. Not a nanny." "I know what you are," Leon said. His gaze didn't waver. "And I'm offering you 3 times your current salary. Name your price." "My price," Amina said slowly, "is that you leave my restaurant and never come back with this ridiculous offer." For a moment, Leon just stared at her. No one said no to him. Ever. Then, without another word, he took his daughter's hand and left. Amina thought that was the end of it. She was wrong. Leon Park came back the next day. And the day after that. Each time he sat at the same table with Hannah. Each time Hannah ate everything Amina cooked. And each time Leon made the same offer. "Work for me." "No. I'll double it." "Still no." "I'll triple it." "I'm not interested in your money, Mr. Park." On the 4th visit, he brought his lieutenant, a man named Ji-hoon who looked like he could break bones with his bare hands. "Miss Okafor," Ji-hoon said politely, "Mr. Park is a very persistent man. It would be easier for everyone if you just accepted." Amina crossed her arms. "Are you threatening me?" "No," Leon said sharply, cutting Ji-hoon off. "I don't threaten women. I'm asking. And I'm refusing." Leon leaned back in his chair, studying her. "Why?" "Because I'm not a babysitter. I'm a chef. I worked my entire life to get here. I'm not giving that up to wipe noses and sing lullabies." "She doesn't need lullabies," Leon said quietly. "She needs you." Amina hesitated. There was something in his voice, something broken. "Why me?" she asked. "Because you're the only person who's made her smile in 2 years." The weight of that confession hung in the air. Amina looked at Hannah, who was tracing patterns on the table with her finger, lost in her own world. "I'm sorry," Amina said. "But I can't." Leon stood. "I understand." And he left. For 2 weeks, Amina didn't see him. She told herself she'd done the right thing. She had a life, a restaurant, a purpose. But she kept thinking about Hannah. The way she'd smiled when she tasted the jollof. The way her tiny hand had reached for the origami crane. Then one morning, Amina arrived at her restaurant to find a man in a suit waiting outside. "Miss Okafor," he said. "I'm here on behalf of Park Enterprises. We've purchased this establishment. Effective immediately, you now work for us." Amina's blood ran cold. "What?" He handed her a folder. Inside was the deed to her restaurant, signed over to Leon Park. And attached to it was her contract with a new clause. Additional duties: provide meal preparation services for Leon Park and his daughter 3 days per week at the Park residence. Contract term, 1 year. Amina's hands shook. "This is illegal." "It's completely legal," the man said. "You signed a contract with the previous owner. That contract transfers with ownership. Mr. Park looks forward to working with you." Amina wanted to scream. Wanted to burn the contract. Wanted to storm into Leon Park's office and throw jollof rice in his smug face. But she couldn't. She had bills. Staff who depended on her. A reputation to uphold. She was trapped. "All right, let me pause here for a second. If you were Amina, would you walk away and lose everything you built? Or would you play his game and find a way to win? Comment below. And if you haven't already, smash that subscribe button and hit the bell, because this story is about to get even more complicated. The first time Amina walked into Leon Park's mansion, she felt like she'd stepped into another world. It was massive, cold, modern and sterile, all marble floors and floor-to-ceiling windows. Beautiful, yes, but it didn't feel like a home. It felt like a fortress. Leon was waiting for her in the foyer, Hannah beside him. "Welcome," he said. Amina didn't smile. "Let's get one thing straight. I'm here because you left me no choice." But the moment my contract is up, I'm gone. Understood. Understood. And I'm not a nanny. I'm a chef. I'll cook for you and your daughter. That's it. That's all I'm asking. Amina looked down at Hannah, who was staring at her shoes. Hi, Hannah. Remember me? Hannah didn't respond. But her fingers twitched, a tiny acknowledgement. Leon showed Amina to the kitchen. It was state-of-the-art. Every tool, every ingredient she could dream of. I've had everything you requested delivered, Leon said. If you need anything else, just ask. Amina nodded stiffly. I'll start with dinner. Leon hesitated. Amina, thank you. She didn't answer. Just turned to the stove and started cooking. Over the next few weeks, a routine developed. 3 days a week, Amina came to the mansion. She cooked breakfast, lunch, and dinner. She made sure everything was prepared to Hannah's needs. Nothing too spicy, nothing too crunchy. She started noticing patterns. Hannah would only eat if the food was a certain temperature. She couldn't handle strong smells. She needed her plate arranged in a specific way. Amina adjusted, adapted, learned. And slowly Hannah began to open up. She started eating without prompting. Started sitting closer to Amina in the kitchen. One day she even reached out and touched Amina's hand while she was chopping vegetables. Leon watched it all from the doorway, silent, stunned. One evening, after Hannah had gone to bed, Leon found Amina in the kitchen, cleaning up. Can I ask you something? He said. Amina glanced at him. You're going to anyway. He almost smiled. How do you do it? Do what? Reach her. I've tried everything. Therapists, specialists, nannies. Nothing worked. But you just know. Amina dried her hands on a towel. I pay attention. That's all. It's more than that. Amina sighed. Your daughter isn't broken, Mr. Park. She's just processing the world differently. And she's grieving. You can't fix grief with money or doctors. You fix it with patience. And love. Leon's jaw tightened. I love my daughter. I know you do, Amina said softly. But love isn't enough if you don't know how to show it in a way she can understand. For a long moment, Leon just looked at her. And for the first time, Amina saw past the cold exterior. She saw the guilt, the fear, the desperation of a man who would do anything to save his child. Teach me, he said quietly. Amina blinked. What? Teach me how to reach her. And so she did. The weeks turned into months. Amina started staying longer at the mansion. Not because Leon asked, but because Hannah needed her. She realized the girl's meltdowns weren't random. They were triggered. Certain fabrics made her skin crawl. Bright lights hurt her eyes. Loud noises sent her into panic. Amina replaced Hannah's entire wardrobe with soft cotton. She dimmed the lights. She created a sensory corner filled with weighted blankets and soft textures. She made meals that were nutritionally balanced but gentle on Hannah's system. And something miraculous happened. Hannah started sleeping through the night. She started laughing. She started reaching for her father. Leon watched his daughter transform and he couldn't believe it. For 2 years he'd been drowning in guilt, convinced he'd failed her. But Amina had given him hope. And somewhere along the way he started watching Amina too. The way she hummed while she cooked. The way she spoke to Hannah with such gentleness. The way she challenged him, pushed back, refused to be intimidated. She was fire and softness all at once. And he was falling for her. It started with small things. Leon began joining them for meals. At first, Amina found it awkward, this dangerous man sitting across from her, eating her food in silence. But then he started asking questions. About her childhood. Her training. Her dreams. Why Seoul? He asked one night. Amina shrugged. I wanted to disappear. Start over. Be somewhere no one knew my name. And did you? For a while. She smiled bitterly. Until you showed up. Leon's lips twitched. I'm sorry. No, you're not. You're right. I'm not. They stared at each other across the table. And for the first time, Amina felt something shift. Something dangerous. One night, Amina was in the kitchen late, preparing meals for the week. She didn't hear Leon come in until he was standing beside her. You should go home, he said. It's late. I'm almost done. Leon watched her work. You're incredible, you know that? Amina's hands stilled. Don't what? Don't do this. She turned to face him. I know what you're doing, Mr. Park. And it's not going to work. What am I doing? You're trying to make this something it's not. I'm here because you forced me to be. Not because I want to be. Leon stepped closer. Are you sure about that? Amina's breath hitched. He was too close. She could smell his cologne, cedar and smoke. Could see the intensity in his eyes. Yes, she whispered. But her voice didn't sound convincing. Not even to herself. Leon reached out, his fingers brushing a strand of hair from her face. Liar. Amina's heart pounded. She should step back. Should push him away. But she didn't. This is a bad idea, she said. I know. You're dangerous. I know. I'm leaving in 6 months. I know. And then he kissed her. The kiss was everything Amina had been afraid of. It wasn't gentle. It wasn't soft. It was desperate and consuming, like two people who'd been fighting gravity finally giving in. Leon's hands tangled in her hair, pulling her closer, and Amina's fingers gripped his shirt like she was drowning. When they finally broke apart, both of them were breathing hard. This changes nothing, Amina said. Everything, Leon corrected. Leon. I'm in love with you. The words hung in the air, heavy and undeniable. Amina's eyes filled with tears. You can't be. Why not? Because I'm not staying. Because this was never supposed to happen. Because you're a mafia boss, Leon. You kill people. You break people. And I can't. I would never hurt you. You already did. Amina's voice cracked. You took away my choice. You bought my life. You trapped me here. Leon's face twisted with regret. I know. And I'm sorry. But I'm not sorry for loving you. I'm not sorry for wanting you. And I'm not sorry for hoping you feel the same. Amina wiped her eyes. It doesn't matter what I feel. It's the only thing that matters. Okay, pause. This is the moment. The moment everything changes. But before we find out what happens next, hit that like button if you're Team Amina, and drop a fire emoji in the comments if you're Team Leon. And don't forget to subscribe because you do not want to miss what's about to happen. For weeks, Amina tried to pretend the kiss never happened. She came to the mansion. She cooked. She took care of Hannah. And she avoided Leon as much as possible. But avoidance only worked for so long. One evening, Hannah asked a question that shattered everything. Amina, are you going to leave like mommy? Amina's heart broke. She knelt down and took Hannah's small hands in hers. Sweetheart, I'm not going anywhere right now. I promise. But you will. Everyone leaves. Amina looked up and saw Leon standing in the doorway, his face carved from stone. That night, after Hannah was asleep, Leon found Amina in the garden. She's right, isn't she? He said. You're going to leave. Amina didn't answer. I know I don't deserve you, Leon continued. I know what I am. What I've done. But Amina, you've given me something I thought I'd lost forever. Oh. And I'm begging you, don't take that away from us. From us. Amina whispered. Or from you. Both. Amina turned to face him. You want me to stay. But you've never asked me what I want. Then tell me. What do you want? I want my life back. I want my restaurant. I want the freedom to choose. Leon nodded slowly. Then I'll give it to you. Amina blinked. What? I'll transfer the restaurant back to you. Void the contract. You'll be free. But I'm asking you, begging you, to stay anyway. Not because you have to, but because you want to. Tears streamed down Amina's face. Leon? I love you, Amina. And I know you love me too. I see it every time you look at me. Every time you cook for us. Every time you hold my daughter like she's yours. She's not mine. She could be. The next morning, Amina woke to find legal documents on her doorstep. The restaurant. Fully transferred back into her name. The contract voided. She was free. And Leon hadn't even asked for an answer. Amina spent 3 days thinking. She went back to her restaurant. Back to her apartment. Back to her old life. But it didn't feel like home anymore. Because home had become a little girl's laughter. A man's quiet smile. A kitchen filled with warmth and love. On the 4th day, Amina walked back into Leon's mansion. Hannah was in the living room drawing. When she saw Amina, her face lit up. You came back. I did. Amina knelt down and hugged her. And I'm not leaving. Leon appeared in the doorway, his expression unreadable. Amina stood and walked over to him. I'm staying. Not because you bought my restaurant. Not because you forced me. But because I choose this. I choose you. I choose her. I choose us. Leon's breath shuddered. He pulled her into his arms, holding her like she was the most precious thing in the world. I love you, he whispered. I love you too. 6 months later, Amina stood in the kitchen of the mansion, preparing dinner. Hannah was at the table helping her roll dough. Leon was leaning against the counter, watching them with a look of absolute contentment. Amina? Hannah said suddenly. Yes, sweetheart. Can I call you mommy? Amina's hand stilled. She looked at Leon, whose eyes were glassy with emotion. Yes, Amina whispered, her voice thick. You can call me mommy. Hannah beamed. Okay, mommy. And in that moment, Amina realized something. She'd come to Seoul to disappear. To start over. To be alone. But she'd found something better. She'd found a family. She'd found love. She'd found home. Thank you for watching Mafia Love Story, where every heartbeat hides a secret, and every choice changes everything. If this story moved you, hit that like button, drop a comment about your favorite moment, and subscribe so you never miss the next chapter of obsession, danger, and fate. Until next time, remember, love doesn't always come softly. Sometimes it comes like a storm.